Hello there. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Right now, as you settle in, consider for a moment the quiet miracle of life itself. From the tiniest cell humming with unseen activity to the great forests and oceans that breathe around us, life is everywhere. It is tireless. It is endlessly creative. It is woven into every corner of this planet in ways both familiar and utterly astonishing. This is biology, the study of life itself, a science that explores everything from the elegant spirals of DNA hidden within your cells to the ancient roots of trees whispering to one another through underground networks. Tonight, we journey into the hidden world of the living. We will explore over 100 soothing facts about biology, from the microscopic machines inside your body to the vast networks that connect entire forests, from the strange creatures that glow in the ocean's darkest depths to the ancient lineages that have survived every catastrophe Earth has ever known. There is no test at the end, no rush, no urgency, just the gentle unfolding of one of nature's most astonishing stories to carry you softly towards sleep. So let your breathing slow, let your thoughts grow quiet, and allow yourself to drift into the peaceful wonder of the living world. Welcome to Drowsy Discovery. I am glad you found your way here tonight. Perhaps you have had a long day. Perhaps you simply enjoy falling asleep to thoughts about the remarkable creatures that share our world. Either way, this space is for you. There is something deeply calming about contemplating the quiet workings of biology. Every cell dividing in your body, every heartbeat pumping blood through your veins, every neuron firing in your brain carries within it a story billions of years in the making. You are connected to this story more than you might realize. The same water that flows through your body also sustains every creature on Earth. The same atoms that form your cells were forged in the same ancient stars that scattered matter across the cosmos billions of years ago. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is relax. So settle in. Let the weight of the day drift away, and let us begin with the first of many quiet truths about biology. Life is patient beyond measure. It has endured ice ages and volcanic winters. It has survived asteroid impacts and continental shifts. It has adapted, evolved, and flourished in environments that seem utterly hostile to existence. And yet, within all that resilience, there is an ancient creativity, a survival strategy perfected across 4 billion years, a biology so unusual that scientists are only now beginning to understand its secrets. Tonight, we will wander through this magnificent living world. We will meet creatures that outlasted the dinosaurs. We will discover the strange proteins that repair DNA and the networks that connect forests beneath the soil. And we will uncover truths about biology that may surprise even the most curious minds. But there is no hurry. Life has been unfolding for billions of years. It can wait a little longer while you rest. Let us begin with what makes the living world so extraordinary. The DNA in your body could stretch to the sun and back many times. If you could unravel the DNA from every cell in your body and lay it end to end, the resulting strand would reach the sun and back hundreds of times over. Each cell holds roughly 2 meters of tightly coiled genetic material, and with trillions of cells in the human body, the total length is almost beyond imagination. This extraordinary thread encodes the instructions for building and maintaining every tissue, every organ, and every chemical reaction that keeps you alive. Yet despite its staggering reach, DNA is packed so tightly into the nucleus that it occupies a space far smaller than a speck of dust. The coiling is organized into structures called chromosomes, each one a compact library of genetic information. It is a quiet marvel of engineering that something so impossibly long can fit into something so impossibly small. Right now, as you rest, that microscopic thread is faithfully copying itself in millions of your cells, ensuring that the story of you continues with every breath. Every cell in your body contains about 2 meters of DNA coiled into a microscopic space. Inside nearly every cell of your body, roughly 2 meters of DNA is wound into a nucleus just a few millionths of a meter across. To achieve this, the double helix wraps around tiny protein spools called histones, forming a structure that looks somewhat like beads on a string. These beaded strands then fold and loop upon themselves in increasingly compact layers until the entire length of genetic material fits snugly within the cell. This packing is not random. It is precisely organized so that the genes needed at any given moment can be accessed and read, while the rest remains safely tucked away. If the folding goes wrong, essential genes may be silenced or harmful ones may be activated. Scientists continue to study how cells manage this extraordinary feat of organization with such consistent accuracy. It is as though each cell carries within it a library the length of a football pitch, perfectly indexed and ready to be consulted at a moment's notice. The human body contains roughly 37 trillion cells. The number of cells in an adult human body is estimated at approximately 37 trillion, a figure so vast that it is nearly impossible to grasp in everyday terms. These cells come in more than 200 different types, each specialized for a particular task. Red blood cells carry oxygen through your veins. Neurons transmit electrical signals in your brain. Muscle cells contract to move your limbs. Epithelial cells line your organs and protect them from the outside world. Despite their extraordinary diversity, almost every one of these cells carries a complete copy of your genetic code. They work together in seamless cooperation, forming tissues and organs that function as a unified whole. No single cell is aware of the larger organism it belongs to, yet the collective result is you, a conscious being lying peacefully in the dark. It is one of biology's most elegant achievements, trillions of microscopic units collaborating without a central command. Your body replaces millions of cells every second without you noticing. At this very moment, millions of cells in your body are quietly dying and being replaced by fresh ones. This process happens so smoothly and so continuously that you never feel it. Old skin cells slough off as new ones push up from beneath. Worn-out blood cells are broken down in the spleen, while fresh ones are manufactured in the bone marrow. The cells lining your digestive tract are replaced every few days because of the harsh conditions they endure. This constant renewal means that the body you have today is materially different from the one you had several years ago. Most of the atoms and molecules that made up your tissues have been swapped out and replaced by new ones drawn from the food you eat and the water you drink. Yet through all this turnover, your memories, your personality, and your sense of self remain intact. It is a profound reminder that identity is not about the physical matter itself, but about the patterns and processes that persist across time. Red blood cells are replaced approximately every 4 months. A red blood cell has one of the most demanding jobs in the body. It circulates through your blood vessels, carrying oxygen from the lungs to every tissue and returning carbon dioxide for exhalation. Each cell makes this round trip roughly every minute, squeezing through capillaries so narrow that the cell must deform to pass through. After about 120 days of this relentless labor, a red blood cell is worn out and removed from circulation, mostly by the spleen and liver. Its iron is recycled and sent to the bone marrow, where new red blood cells are produced at a remarkable rate of about 2 million per second. This means that by the time 4 months have passed, your entire population of red blood cells has been refreshed. You never feel the transition because the old and new overlap seamlessly. It is a quiet and tireless cycle of renewal that has kept your blood flowing since the day you were born. The lining of your stomach regenerates completely every few days. Your stomach is one of the harshest environments inside your body. It produces hydrochloric acid strong enough to dissolve many metals, along with powerful digestive enzymes that break down the food you eat. The only reason your stomach does not digest itself is a thick layer of mucus that coats the inner lining, forming a protective barrier. Even so, the cells of that lining take a tremendous beating and must be replaced constantly. Every 3 to 5 days, the entire surface layer of the stomach is renewed, with fresh cells rising from deeper glands to take the place of those that have worn away. This rapid regeneration is among the fastest of any tissue in the body. If the process slows or is disrupted, the acid can reach the underlying tissue, leading to ulcers and pain. The stomach's ability to rebuild itself at such speed is a quiet act of self-preservation, a relentless repair program running in the background while you go about your day. Your skeleton is entirely replaced roughly every 10 years. Bones may seem like permanent, unchanging structures, but they are anything but static. Your skeleton is constantly being remodeled by 2 types of specialized cells. Osteoclasts break down old bone tissue, dissolving minerals and releasing them back into the bloodstream. Osteoblasts then lay down fresh bone material in its place. This continuous cycle of destruction and renewal means that over the course of roughly a decade, virtually every part of your skeleton has been rebuilt. The process is essential for maintaining bone strength and for repairing the tiny fractures that accumulate from everyday movements. It also allows your body to regulate calcium levels by storing or releasing the mineral as needed. As you age, the balance between breakdown and rebuilding can shift, which is why bones tend to become less dense in later years. But even now, as you lie still, your bones are quietly reshaping themselves, adapting to the forces they experience and preparing for the demands of tomorrow. The human brain uses about 20% of the body's energy. Although the brain accounts for only about 2% of your total body weight, it consumes roughly 20% of all the energy your body produces. This disproportionate demand reflects the extraordinary complexity of what the brain does. Billions of neurons fire and communicate through trillions of connections, processing sensory information, regulating bodily functions, storing memories, and generating thoughts, all simultaneously and without pause. Most of this energy goes toward maintaining the electrical signals that travel between neurons and toward resupplying the chemical messengers that carry information across the tiny gaps between nerve cells. Even during sleep, the brain remains highly active, consolidating memories, clearing metabolic waste, and managing the systems that keep you alive. The fuel it relies on is almost exclusively glucose, delivered through a rich network of blood vessels. If the supply is interrupted for even a few minutes, brain function begins to falter. It is a reminder of how energy-hungry consciousness truly is. Your brain produces enough electrical activity to power a dim light bulb. The electrical activity generated by your brain is surprisingly measurable. At any given moment, billions of neurons are sending signals to one another using tiny pulses of electricity, and the combined output amounts to roughly 12 to 25 watts of power. That is enough to keep a dim light bulb glowing. This energy is produced by the movement of charged ions, sodium and potassium, across the membranes of nerve cells. Each individual signal is vanishingly small, but the sheer number of neurons firing at any one time produces a total output that can be detected on the surface of the scalp using sensitive instruments. This is the basis of electroencephalography, which records the brain's electrical rhythms as wavy lines on a screen. Different patterns correspond to different mental states, from the rapid activity of focused thought to the slow, rolling waves of deep sleep. Even now, as you drift closer to rest, your brain is generating its own gentle electricity, powering the quiet processes that carry you into the night. The human brain is composed of roughly 75% water. The organ responsible for every thought, memory, and emotion you have ever experienced is, by mass, about 3/4 water. This water is not merely filling space. It plays an active role in the chemical and electrical processes that allow the brain to function. Water helps transport nutrients to neurons, carries away waste products, and serves as the medium in which neurotransmitters are produced and released. It also cushions the brain within the skull, floating it in cerebrospinal fluid that absorbs shocks and protects delicate neural tissue. Even a small drop in hydration can affect cognitive performance, slowing reaction times and reducing the ability to concentrate. The brain has no internal reservoir of water, so it relies entirely on a steady supply delivered through the bloodstream. When you feel a headache developing after a long day without drinking enough, it is often your brain quietly signaling that its water levels have dipped below the ideal threshold. A simple glass of water can be one of the most effective things you do for your mind. A single human brain contains more connections than stars in the Milky Way. The number of synaptic connections in the human brain is estimated to be somewhere in the region of 100 trillion. That figure surpasses the number of stars in our entire galaxy by a comfortable margin. Each neuron can form thousands of these connections with its neighbors, creating a network of staggering complexity. These synapses are the junctions where information is passed from one nerve cell to the next, using tiny bursts of chemical messengers. The pattern of connections is not fixed. It changes throughout your life as you learn new skills, form new memories, and adapt to new experiences. This quality, known as plasticity, means your brain is constantly rewiring itself. Even tonight, while you sleep, synapses will be strengthened or weakened based on the experiences of the day. The result is a living, breathing map of everything you have ever known, felt, or imagined. It is the most complex structure we have discovered anywhere in the universe, and it sits quietly inside your skull. The human heart beats approximately 100,000 times each day. From the moment it first begins to beat, roughly 3 weeks after conception, the human heart does not stop until the very end of life. It contracts approximately 100,000 times every day, pumping around 7,500 liters of blood through the body. That relentless rhythm adds up to roughly 2.5 billion beats over an average lifetime. The heart achieves this without any conscious effort on your part. It is controlled by its own internal pacemaker, a cluster of specialized cells that generate electrical impulses at a steady pace. These impulses spread across the heart muscle in a precisely timed sequence, ensuring that each chamber contracts in the correct order. The heart adjusts its rate automatically, speeding up when you exercise and slowing down when you rest. Right now, as you lie here, your heart is beating gently and steadily, sending oxygen-rich blood to every organ and tissue. It has been doing this without a single break since before you were born. Your heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood several feet. The pressure generated by a single heartbeat is remarkable for an organ roughly the size of a fist. When the left ventricle contracts, it forces blood into the aorta with enough force to send a stream several feet into the air if the artery were open. This pressure is necessary because the blood must travel through an extensive and branching network of vessels, reaching every extremity and returning to the heart for another cycle. The walls of the arteries are elastic, expanding with each heartbeat and then gently recoiling to help push the blood along. This is the pulse you can feel at your wrist or neck, a rhythmic bulge in the artery wall created by the surge of blood from each contraction. The pressure is carefully regulated by the nervous system and by hormones that adjust the diameter of blood vessels throughout the body. If the pressure is too high, it strains the vessels. If it is too low, the organs do not receive enough oxygen. Your body strikes a quiet balance with every beat. Blood travels through more than 60,000 miles of vessels in your body. The circulatory system is an astonishingly vast network. If you could lay out all the blood vessels in a single adult human body end to end, they would stretch for more than 60,000 miles, enough to circle the Earth more than twice. This network includes arteries that carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart, veins that return oxygen-depleted blood, and capillaries so narrow that red blood cells must pass through them in single file. The capillaries are where the real work happens. Their walls are only 1 cell thick, allowing oxygen and nutrients to pass into the surrounding tissues and waste products to be collected. Every organ and every square centimeter of tissue is serviced by this microscopic web. The total surface area of the capillaries is enormous, ensuring that no cell in the body is ever far from a blood supply. It is a delivery system of incredible reach and precision, operating silently within you at every moment of every day. Your body contains enough iron to forge a small nail. Iron is an essential element in the human body, even though the total amount present is surprisingly small. An average adult carries roughly 3 to 4 grams of iron, enough to make a small nail about 2 or 3 centimeters long. Most of this iron is found in hemoglobin, the protein inside red blood cells that binds to oxygen and carries it from the lungs to the rest of the body. Without iron, hemoglobin could not perform this vital function, and your cells would be starved of the oxygen they need to survive. Smaller amounts of iron are stored in the liver and bone marrow, held in reserve for times when the body needs to produce extra red blood cells. Iron is also present in muscle tissue, where it helps store oxygen for use during physical activity. The body guards its iron carefully, recycling it whenever old red blood cells are broken down. It is a modest quantity of metal that quietly sustains one of the most important processes in your entire body. Human blood makes up about 1/13 of total body weight. An average adult carries approximately 4 to 5 liters of blood, which accounts for roughly 1/13 of their total body weight. This may seem like a modest share, but without it, nothing in the body could function. Blood is the medium through which oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and immune cells are distributed to every tissue. It carries heat from the core to the extremities and waste products from the cells to the organs that dispose of them. The liquid portion of blood, called plasma, makes up just over half the total volume and is itself about 90% water. Suspended within it are billions of red blood cells, millions of white blood cells, and hundreds of thousands of platelets. Together, these components create a living fluid that responds to infection, heals wounds, and maintains the chemical balance the body needs to survive. Losing more than about 40% of your blood volume without replacement is life-threatening. It is a quiet and constantly flowing river that carries the essence of life to every part of you. There are more bacterial cells in your body than human cells. For many years, it was widely stated that bacterial cells outnumber human cells by 10 to 1. More recent research has refined that estimate, suggesting the ratio is closer to 1 to 1, with bacterial cells slightly edging ahead. Either way, the sheer number of microbes living on and inside you is extraordinary. They inhabit your skin, your mouth, your lungs, and especially your gut, where the largest communities reside. These bacteria are not invaders. Most of them are beneficial, having co-evolved with humans over millions of years. They help break down food, produce vitamins, protect against harmful pathogens, and even influence your mood through chemical signals sent to the brain. The collection of microbes in your body is sometimes called the microbiome, and it is as unique to you as your fingerprint. Disrupting this microbial community through illness or overuse of antibiotics can have far-reaching effects on health. You are not a solitary organism. You are a walking ecosystem. The gut microbiome contains trillions of microorganisms essential for health. The gut is home to a vast and bustling community of microorganisms, including bacteria, viruses, fungi, and archaea. Together, they number in the trillions and weigh roughly 1 to 2 kilograms in an average adult. This community, referred to as the gut microbiome, is far more than a passive collection of hitchhickers. It actively participates in digestion, breaking down fibers and complex carbohydrates that your own enzymes cannot handle. In the process, these microbes produce short-chain fatty acids and other compounds that nourish the cells lining the intestine. The microbiome also plays a crucial role in training the immune system, helping it distinguish between harmless substances and genuine threats. Research has linked the composition of the gut microbiome to conditions as varied as obesity, depression, allergies, and autoimmune diseases. What you eat directly shapes which species thrive in your gut. A diverse microbiome is generally associated with better health. It is a hidden world of trillions of tiny workers, quietly shaping your well-being from the inside. Gut bacteria help produce vitamins and train the immune system. The bacteria living in your gut do far more than simply aid digestion. Several species produce essential vitamins that your own cells cannot manufacture, including vitamin K, which is vital for blood clotting, and certain B vitamins needed for energy metabolism. These microbial vitamins are absorbed through the intestinal wall and enter the bloodstream, contributing to your overall nutritional health. Beyond vitamin production, gut bacteria play a central role in educating the immune system during early life. By exposing immune cells to a wide variety of microbial molecules, the microbiome teaches the body what is harmless and what requires a defensive response. This early training helps prevent the immune system from overreacting to benign substances, which is one possible explanation for the rise in allergies and autoimmune conditions in highly sanitized environments. The relationship between your immune system and your gut bacteria is a delicate partnership refined over millions of years of coevolution. It is one of the most important collaborations happening inside you right now. The human eye can distinguish millions of different colors. The human eye is a remarkably sensitive instrument. The retina at the back of each eye contains roughly 6 million cone cells, which are responsible for color vision. These cones come in 3 types, each tuned to a different range of wavelengths corresponding roughly to red, green, and blue light. By comparing the signals from these 3 types, the brain constructs the rich palette of color that you experience every day. Estimates suggest that a person with normal color vision can distinguish somewhere between 1 million and 10 million different shades. The exact number varies from person to person. The process is so seamless that you rarely consider how extraordinary it is. Every sunset, every flower, every face you recognize is assembled from 3 simple inputs blended together by the brain into a continuous spectrum of color. The eye itself is little more than a lens focusing light onto a thin sheet of cells, yet the result is a visual experience of astonishing depth and beauty. It happens effortlessly, even when you are barely paying attention. Fingerprints are unique, even among identical twins. No 2 fingerprints are exactly alike, not even those of identical twins who share the same DNA. While genes influence the general pattern of ridges on your fingertips, the precise arrangement is shaped by conditions in the womb that can never be perfectly replicated. Small differences in the position of the fetus, the flow of amniotic fluid, and the timing of skin development all contribute to subtle variations in the ridge patterns. Even the two hands of the same person carry different fingerprints. This uniqueness has made fingerprints one of the most reliable methods of identification for well over a century. The ridges themselves serve a practical purpose, improving grip on smooth surfaces and enhancing the sensitivity of touch by channeling vibrations to the nerve endings beneath. Each ridge is studded with tiny sweat pores that leave behind faint impressions on everything you touch. These impressions remain stable throughout life, unchanged by age or injury unless the deepest layers of skin are damaged. Your fingerprints are a quiet signature, written before you were born and carried with you always. The human nose can detect over 1 trillion distinct scents. For a long time, scientists believed the human nose could detect only about 10,000 different odors. More recent research has overturned that estimate dramatically, suggesting that the true figure may be over 1 trillion. The nose achieves this by using roughly 400 types of olfactory receptors, each one tuned to recognize a slightly different group of chemical molecules. When you breathe in, airborne molecules land on a small patch of tissue high inside the nasal cavity, where they bind to these receptors. The combination of receptors activated by any given scent creates a unique pattern that the brain interprets as a particular smell. Because there are so many possible combinations, the range of distinguishable odors is almost limitless. The sense of smell is also deeply connected to memory and emotion, which is why a familiar fragrance can instantly transport you to a place you have not visited in years. It is one of the most ancient senses, shared in some form by nearly all animals, and it operates quietly in the background of every breath. Your skin is the largest organ of the human body. If you could peel off all the skin covering an average adult, it would spread out to roughly 1.5 to 2 square meters and weigh around 3 to 4 kilograms. That makes it by far the largest and heaviest organ in the body. Skin serves as the first line of defense against the outside world, forming a waterproof barrier that keeps pathogens out and essential moisture in. It regulates body temperature by adjusting blood flow near the surface and by producing sweat. It is packed with nerve endings that detect pressure, pain, heat, and cold, allowing you to navigate your environment through touch. The outermost layer, the epidermis, is constantly renewing itself, shedding dead cells and replacing them with fresh ones from below. Beneath it lies the dermis, which contains blood vessels, hair follicles, oil glands, and the structural proteins that give skin its strength and elasticity. Your skin is always quietly working, shielding you from the elements while keeping everything inside in careful order. The liver can regenerate from as little as 1/3 of its original tissue. The liver is one of the few internal organs capable of significant regeneration. If up to 2/3 of the liver is removed through surgery or damage, the remaining tissue can regrow to restore nearly the full original mass within weeks. This remarkable ability has been known for centuries and is even reflected in the ancient Greek myth of Prometheus, whose liver was devoured by an eagle each day only to grow back by morning. The liver's regenerative power is driven by the remaining hepatocytes, the main functional cells, which re-enter the cell cycle and begin dividing rapidly. Growth factors and signaling molecules coordinate the process, ensuring that the new tissue is properly organized and functional. Once the liver has returned to roughly its original size, the growth signals switch off and the cells return to a resting state. This capacity is critical for medical procedures such as living donor liver transplants, where a portion of a healthy person's liver can be given to a patient in need, with both donor and recipient livers eventually regrowing. Stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve metal. The hydrochloric acid produced by the cells lining your stomach has a pH of around 1 to 2, which makes it one of the strongest acids found anywhere in the body. At that concentration, it is powerful enough to dissolve thin sheets of certain metals and can break down the proteins in food into smaller fragments for further digestion downstream. The acid also serves as a chemical gatekeeper, killing most of the bacteria and other pathogens that enter the body along with food and drink. Your stomach protects itself from this corrosive fluid by producing a thick layer of alkaline mucus that coats the inner lining. The cells beneath this mucus barrier are replaced every few days to ensure that any damage is repaired before it becomes serious. If the mucus layer is compromised, the acid can reach the stomach wall and cause painful ulcers. It is a striking arrangement, a pocket of destructive acid carefully contained within the body and harnessed for a constructive purpose. The balance is maintained every moment of your life. Giraffes have the same number of neck bones as humans. Despite their extraordinarily long necks, giraffes have exactly the same number of cervical vertebrae as humans, 7. The difference is in the size of those bones. Each giraffe vertebra can be more than 25 centimeters long, allowing the animal's neck to reach lengths of around 2 meters. This remarkable elongation allows giraffes to browse on leaves and shoots high above the reach of competing herbivores. The circulatory system of a giraffe has evolved to cope with the challenges posed by such a long neck. The heart must pump blood upward against gravity to reach the brain, and specialized valves and elastic blood vessel walls help regulate pressure as the animal raises and lowers its head. Without these adaptations, simply bending down to drink water could cause a dangerous rush of blood to the brain. The 7-bone rule holds true for nearly all mammals, from mice to whales, a quiet reminder that evolution often works by modifying existing structures rather than inventing entirely new ones. A hummingbird's heart can beat more than 1,000 times per minute. Hummingbirds are among the smallest and most energetic creatures on Earth. To sustain their rapid wing beats, which can exceed 80 times per second during hovering, they need an extraordinary metabolic rate. Their hearts can beat more than 1,000 times per minute during flight, pumping blood at a pace that dwarfs anything seen in larger animals. Despite the frantic speed of their lives, hummingbirds are remarkably efficient. They can enter a state called torpor during cold nights, slowing their heart rate to as few as 50 beats per minute and dropping their body temperature dramatically to conserve energy. This ability to shift between extremes allows them to survive in habitats where food may be scarce overnight. A hummingbird's entire body is built for speed and efficiency, from its lightweight skeleton to its specialized wing muscles. Watching one hover motionless beside a flower, it is easy to forget just how much internal effort is required to produce such effortless grace. It is a tiny engine of extraordinary power. The blue whale possesses the largest heart of any animal on Earth. The heart of a blue whale is a truly extraordinary organ. It can weigh as much as a small car and is large enough for a small child to crawl through its major arteries. Despite its immense size, the blue whale's heart beats remarkably slowly when the animal dives, sometimes dropping to as few as 2 beats per minute. During these deep dives, the heart slows to conserve oxygen, distributing blood primarily to the brain and vital organs. When the whale surfaces and breathes, the heart rate increases to replenish oxygen stores throughout its massive body. The aorta, the main artery leaving the heart, is so wide that a fully grown human could fit inside it. Blue whales are the largest animals ever to have lived on Earth, exceeding even the largest dinosaurs in mass. Their hearts must generate enough pressure to send blood through a body that can stretch more than 30 meters in length. It is a gentle, giant's engine, built to sustain the quietest and most majestic of lives. A blue whale's heart is roughly the size of a small car. To appreciate the scale of a blue whale's heart, imagine an organ large enough to fill the bonnet of a compact car. At rest, it pumps around 200 liters of blood with each beat, circulating oxygen through a body that weighs as much as 25 elephants. The sound of the heartbeat itself is so powerful that it can be detected from several meters away using underwater listening equipment. Scientists have studied the hearts of stranded blue whales and found that the muscular walls of the ventricles are extraordinarily thick, adapted to generate the tremendous pressure needed to push blood through such a vast circulatory system. When the whale swims at a steady pace near the surface, its heart beats perhaps 4 to 8 times per minute. During deep dives, it slows further to conserve oxygen. This massive organ sustains the longest animal alive. It is a quiet thought to carry with you that somewhere in the ocean right now, the largest heart on Earth is beating slowly and steadily beneath the waves. The tongue of a blue whale weighs as much as an elephant. The blue whale's tongue is so enormous that it can weigh roughly as much as an adult African elephant, approximately 2 to 3 tons. When the whale feeds, it opens its massive jaws and takes in an enormous volume of seawater and krill. The tongue then pushes the water outward through the plates of baleen hanging from the upper jaw, trapping millions of tiny krill inside. A single feeding lunge can capture several hundred kilograms of food in just a few seconds. The tongue itself is spongy and highly vascular, capable of engorging with blood during feeding to increase its size and effectiveness. Outside of feeding, the tongue fills most of the lower jaw, resting quietly in the largest mouth on Earth. Despite its staggering mass, the blue whale subsists almost entirely on krill, tiny shrimp-like creatures just a few centimeters long. It is one of nature's great paradoxes that the largest animal ever to live sustains itself on some of the smallest creatures in the ocean. Koala fingerprints are nearly indistinguishable from human ones. Koalas are one of the very few animals whose fingerprints are so similar to human ones that even trained forensic experts can struggle to tell them apart under a microscope. The ridges and loops on koala fingertips follow the same general patterns found on human hands, despite the two species being separated by millions of years of evolution. This is a striking example of convergent evolution, where unrelated organisms develop similar features in response to similar environmental pressures. Koalas spend much of their lives gripping smooth eucalyptus branches, and the ridged skin on their fingers likely improves their ability to hold on securely. Humans evolved similar ridges for grasping objects and sensing fine textures. The resemblance is so close that koala prints have occasionally been mistaken for human ones at crime scenes in Australia, though such cases remain extremely rare. It is a curious thought that a slow, leaf-eating marsupial carries on its fingertips a pattern almost identical to your own. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. The circulatory system of an octopus is unlike anything found in most familiar animals. 2 of its 3 hearts are dedicated solely to pumping blood through the gills, where it picks up oxygen from the surrounding water. The 3rd heart then pushes that oxygenated blood around the rest of the body. Interestingly, the main heart stops beating when the octopus swims, which is one reason these creatures often prefer crawling along the seabed over sustained swimming. Their blood is blue because it relies on a copper-based molecule called hemocyanin to carry oxygen, rather than the iron-based hemoglobin found in human blood. Hemocyanin is less efficient at transporting oxygen in warm conditions, but works remarkably well in the cold, low-oxygen environments of the deep sea. This unusual chemistry gives octopus blood its distinctive color and reflects the remarkable ways in which evolution has solved the problem of oxygen transport across different branches of the animal kingdom. Octopus brains are partly distributed throughout their 8 arms. An octopus has roughly 500 million neurons, a number comparable to that of a dog. What makes the octopus nervous system truly unusual is that about 2/3 of those neurons are located not in the central brain, but distributed throughout the 8 arms. Each arm contains a dense cluster of nerve cells that allows it to taste, touch, and respond to its surroundings with a degree of independence from the central brain. An arm can explore a crevice, manipulate an object, or even open a jar without waiting for instructions from above. The central brain coordinates the overall behavior of the animal, setting goals and priorities, but the arms carry out detailed movements largely on their own. This decentralized arrangement allows the octopus to perform several complex tasks simultaneously. It is as if each arm possesses a small mind of its own, contributing to the whole while retaining its own local awareness. The result is an intelligence spread across the entire body. Octopuses can change both color and texture in moments. The skin of an octopus is one of the most dynamic surfaces in the animal kingdom. Embedded within it are thousands of specialized cells called chromatophores, each one a tiny sac of pigment surrounded by a ring of muscles. When these muscles contract, the pigment sac expands, flooding a small area of skin with color. By coordinating thousands of chromatophores at once, the octopus can produce complex patterns of color in a fraction of a second. Beneath the chromatophores lie iridophores and leucophores, which reflect and scatter light to produce shimmering or white effects. The octopus can also alter the physical texture of its skin, raising bumps and ridges to match the surface it is resting against. This combination of color change and texture manipulation allows the animal to vanish against coral, rock, or sand almost instantaneously. It is a form of camouflage so effective that even experienced divers can look directly at an octopus without realizing it is there. Some octopus arms can continue responding even when detached. If an octopus loses an arm to a predator, the severed limb does not simply go limp. It can continue to move, grasp objects, and even respond to stimuli for some time after being separated from the body. This remarkable behavior is possible because of the dense network of neurons running through each arm, which allows it to process sensory information and generate coordinated movements without input from the central brain. The detached arm can curl, stretch, and react to touch, effectively acting as a decoy that distracts the predator while the octopus escapes. Over time, the octopus will regenerate the lost arm, regrowing it complete with suckers and nerve cells. This ability to sacrifice a limb and then replace it is a powerful survival strategy. The fact that the severed arm remains active speaks to the extraordinary independence of the octopus nervous system. It is a quiet reminder that intelligence, in the ocean at least, can take forms very different from our own. Certain jellyfish can revert to a youthful stage and may be biologically immortal. The tiny jellyfish known as Turritopsis doanea has earned the nickname the immortal jellyfish for a remarkable reason. When it is injured, starving, or simply aging, it can reverse its life cycle, transforming its adult cells back into a younger polyp stage and essentially starting life over again. This process, called transdifferentiation, involves the mature cells changing their identity and reorganizing into an entirely different body form. In theory, this cycle can repeat indefinitely, giving the jellyfish a form of biological immortality. In practice, most individuals are eaten by predators or succumb to disease long before they can take advantage of this ability. The species is found in oceans around the world, drifting quietly through the water column. Scientists are studying this creature closely, hoping its cellular reprogramming might one day offer insights into human aging and regenerative medicine. It is a humbling thought, that one of the most extraordinary survival strategies in nature belongs to a creature barely a few millimeters wide. Jellyfish have survived for over 500 million years without brains. Jellyfish are among the oldest multicellular animals on the planet. Fossil evidence suggests they have been drifting through the oceans for at least 500 million years, predating dinosaurs, trees, and even most insects. Despite this extraordinary longevity as a group, jellyfish have no brain, no heart, and no blood. Their bodies are composed mainly of water, held together by a simple network of nerve cells that allows them to detect light, gravity, and chemical signals in the water. This nerve net is enough to coordinate their pulsing movements and direct them toward food or away from danger. They do not need complex organs because their thin body walls allow nutrients and oxygen to diffuse directly into their cells. This simplicity has proven to be an extraordinary advantage. While countless more complex species have risen and fallen over the eons, jellyfish have quietly persisted. They are a living testament to the fact that survival does not always require complexity. Sometimes drifting with the current is enough. Tardigrades can survive the vacuum of space and extreme radiation. Tardigrades, often called water bears, are microscopic animals rarely longer than half a millimeter. Despite their tiny size, they are among the most resilient creatures ever discovered. In experiments, tardigrades have survived direct exposure to the vacuum of space, enduring the complete absence of pressure and moisture while being bombarded by cosmic radiation. They have also withstood temperatures close to absolute zero and as high as 150 degrees Celsius. Their secret lies in a remarkable ability to enter a state of extreme dormancy known as cryptobiosis, in which their metabolic activity drops to nearly undetectable levels. In this state, they produce special proteins and sugars that protect their cells from damage. Once conditions improve, they rehydrate and resume normal activity as though nothing happened. Scientists have studied tardigrades extensively, hoping to learn how biological structures can survive such extreme punishment. These tiny creatures challenge our understanding of the limits of life itself. Tardigrades enter a dried state, called a tun, to survive harsh conditions. When a tardigrade faces extreme dehydration, it performs one of nature's most impressive survival tricks. It pulls in its 8 stubby legs, curls into a compact ball, and expels almost all the water from its body, reducing its water content to as little as 1%. This dried state is known as a tun, and in it, the tardigrade appears lifeless. Its metabolism slows to a level so low it is essentially unmeasurable. The cells are protected by a glassy matrix of sugars and specialized proteins that prevent the delicate internal structures from collapsing or tearing apart. In this form, the tardigrade can endure conditions that would destroy almost any other organism, including extreme cold, intense heat, crushing pressure, and high doses of radiation. The tun can persist for years, perhaps even decades, waiting patiently for the return of moisture. When water finally arrives, the tardigrade rehydrates within hours and resumes its quiet life among the moss and lichen. Some tardigrades have revived after decades without water. In a remarkable demonstration of biological endurance, scientists have successfully revived tardigrades that had been stored in a dried state for more than 30 years. These tiny creatures were collected from Antarctic moss samples and kept frozen in a laboratory. When researchers finally rehydrated them, the tardigrades not only came back to life, but also began moving and feeding within days. Some even went on to reproduce, producing healthy offspring despite their extraordinarily long dormancy. This ability to survive without water for decades challenges the conventional boundaries between life and death. During their dormant period, no metabolic processes were detectable, yet the essential structures within their cells remained intact, preserved by the protective molecules they had produced before drying out. These findings have significant implications for fields such as space biology and medicine, where preserving living cells without water could open remarkable new possibilities. The tardigrade quietly demonstrates that life, once established, can be astonishingly difficult to extinguish. Axolotls can regenerate entire limbs, spinal cords, and parts of their brain. The axolotl is a small aquatic salamander native to the lakes of central Mexico, and it possesses one of the most extraordinary regenerative abilities in the animal kingdom. If an axolotl loses a limb, it can regrow the entire structure, complete with bones, muscles, blood vessels, and nerves, in a matter of weeks. This regeneration is not limited to limbs. Axolotls can also repair their spinal cords, parts of their hearts, and even sections of their brains. The process begins when cells at the wound site lose their specialized identity and form a mass of undifferentiated tissue called a blastema. From this blastema, new cells differentiate and organize themselves into the correct structures with remarkable precision. Scientists have studied axolotls for decades, hoping to understand the signals that trigger this regrowth and whether similar pathways might one day be activated in humans. For now, the axolotl remains a quiet marvel, rebuilding itself with a patience and completeness that the rest of the animal kingdom can only envy. Axolotls remain in their larval form throughout their entire lives. Unlike most amphibians, which undergo metamorphosis from a larval stage into an adult form, the axolotl retains its juvenile features for its entire life. This phenomenon is known as neoteny. The axolotl keeps its feathery external gills, its flattened tail fin, and its fully aquatic lifestyle, never developing the lungs and terrestrial body of a typical adult salamander. It can still reproduce in this larval state, reaching sexual maturity without ever completing the transformation that other salamanders go through. Under certain artificial laboratory conditions, exposure to thyroid hormones can induce metamorphosis, but this rarely happens in the wild. The axolotl's strategy of remaining aquatic has served it well in the still, deep waters of its native habitat. By avoiding the energy-intensive process of metamorphosis, it conserves resources that can be directed toward growth and reproduction. It is a gentle creature, drifting through its underwater world with a permanent expression that appears almost to be smiling. Salamanders can regrow limbs complete with bones, muscles, and nerves. Salamanders are the champions of regeneration among vertebrates. When a salamander loses a leg, the wound does not simply heal over with scar tissue as it would in most animals. Instead, the cells at the injury site begin to dedifferentiate, reverting to a less specialized state. These cells then form a blastema, a bud of rapidly dividing tissue from which the entire new limb will grow. Over the following weeks, the blastema gives rise to new bone, cartilage, muscle, skin, blood vessels, and nerve fibers, all arranged in exactly the correct pattern. The new limb is virtually indistinguishable from the original. This ability has fascinated biologists since it was first documented centuries ago. The molecular signals that guide the process are being intensively studied in hopes that similar regeneration could someday be encouraged in mammals. For now, the salamander carries out this quiet miracle in forest streams and damp woodlands, regrowing what it has lost with an ease that continues to astonish researchers. Starfish can regenerate entire arms and sometimes whole bodies from fragments. Starfish, more properly called sea stars, have a remarkable ability to regrow lost arms. If a predator tears away one of their limbs, the sea star can slowly regenerate it over a period of months. In some species, the process goes even further. A single severed arm provided it retains a portion of the central disc, can regenerate an entirely new body. This extraordinary capacity is driven by populations of stem-like cells that migrate to the wound site and begin constructing new tissue. The regenerated arm eventually matches the original in size and function, complete with tube feet and sensory structures. This ability makes sea stars exceptionally resilient to predation. Some species can even reproduce asexually by deliberately splitting themselves in two and regrowing the missing halves. The slow, patient process of regeneration happens on the ocean floor, out of sight and largely unnoticed. It is a quiet act of biological engineering, unfolding beneath the waves with a persistence that speaks to the remarkable adaptability of life. The hydra may be functionally immortal due to constant cellular regeneration. The hydra is a tiny freshwater organism, usually just a few millimeters long, that has fascinated biologists for centuries. Its body is composed of stem cells that are in a constant state of division and renewal. Old cells are continuously pushed to the tips of the tentacles or the base of the body and shed, while fresh cells take their place. This relentless turnover means that the hydra is perpetually rebuilding itself, never accumulating the damaged or aging cells that lead to deterioration in most animals. Laboratory studies have observed individual hydras for years without detecting any increase in mortality rate or decline in reproductive ability, leading some researchers to describe the organism as functionally immortal. If a hydra is cut into pieces, each fragment can regenerate into a complete new animal. This extraordinary regenerative capacity and apparent resistance to aging have made the hydra a valuable model organism for studying the biology of senescence. It drifts quietly in ponds and streams, a tiny creature that may never truly grow old. The Greenland shark can live for over 400 years. The Greenland shark is one of the longest-lived vertebrates known to science. Studies using radiocarbon dating of proteins in the shark's eye lenses have estimated that some individuals may be over 400 years old. That means a Greenland shark alive today could have been born before the founding of many modern nations. These sharks grow incredibly slowly, adding roughly 1 centimeter per year to their body length, and they do not reach sexual maturity until they are approximately 150 years old. They inhabit the cold, deep waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans, moving at a leisurely pace through the darkness. Their flesh contains high concentrations of a natural antifreeze compound that helps them survive in near-freezing temperatures. Because they live so long and reproduce so slowly, Greenland sharks are particularly vulnerable to overfishing and environmental change. They drift through the deep like living relics, carrying within their ancient bodies a record of centuries of ocean history. Sharks have existed on Earth longer than trees. The fossil record reveals that sharks first appeared in the oceans roughly 450 million years ago, long before the first trees took root on land, around 350 million years ago. This means sharks had already been patrolling the seas for approximately 100 million years before forests began to cover the continents. Over that immense span of time, sharks have survived multiple mass extinction events, including the catastrophic one that wiped out the dinosaurs. Their basic body plan, a streamlined form with cartilaginous skeleton, keen senses, and efficient predatory instincts, has proven remarkably successful. While individual species have come and gone, the group as a whole has persisted with surprisingly little fundamental change. Modern sharks retain features that were already present in their ancient ancestors, refined but recognizable. Their endurance through hundreds of millions of years of environmental upheaval is a testament to the effectiveness of their design. Sharks are not primitive relics, but finely tuned survivors, quietly outlasting nearly everything else in the ocean. Whales record their life history in layers of ear wax. Deep inside the ear canal of certain whale species, a plug of wax accumulates over the animal's entire lifetime. This plug grows in alternating light and dark layers, much like the rings of a tree trunk. Each pair of layers corresponds roughly to a period of feeding and a period of migration or fasting, and by counting them, scientists can estimate the whale's age. But the ear wax contains far more than a simple timeline. Chemical analysis of each layer can reveal what the whale was eating, the levels of stress hormones it was experiencing, and even what pollutants were present in the ocean during that period of its life. Researchers have used these waxy archives to reconstruct detailed biographies of individual whales, spanning decades. The information locked inside a single ear plug can reveal changes in ocean chemistry, shifts in prey availability, and the impact of human activity on marine ecosystems. It is a quiet, intimate record of a life lived in the deep, preserved in a substance most of us would never think to examine. Dolphins communicate using signature whistles that function like names. Dolphins are among the most socially complex animals in the ocean. Each bottlenose dolphin develops a unique signature whistle during the first few months of life, and this whistle serves as a form of individual identification, effectively functioning like a name. When dolphins encounter one another in the open ocean, they exchange these signature whistles to announce their presence and recognize members of their social group. Studies have shown that dolphins can remember the signature whistles of individuals they have not encountered for many years. They can also copy the whistles of other dolphins, apparently to call specific individuals by name. This ability suggests a level of social awareness and communication that goes well beyond simple alarm calls or mating signals. Dolphins use a rich repertoire of clicks, buzzes, and whistles to coordinate hunting, maintain group cohesion, and strengthen social bonds. The existence of personalized names within a non-human species is a gentle reminder that the boundaries of communication and identity extend far beyond our own. Dolphins sleep with half their brain awake to continue breathing. Dolphins are voluntary breathers, meaning they must consciously decide to take each breath. This presents a serious challenge when it comes to sleep, because losing consciousness entirely could result in drowning. The solution is a remarkable adaptation called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. When a dolphin rests, one half of its brain enters a deep sleep state, while the other half remains alert. The awake hemisphere keeps one eye open, monitors the surroundings for predators, and ensures the dolphin surfaces regularly to breathe. After a period of time, the two have switched roles, allowing each side of the brain to rest in turn. This means a dolphin is never fully asleep in the way that humans are. It remains partially aware at all times, drifting through the water in a state somewhere between waking and dreaming. Other marine mammals, including some seals and manatees, share variations of this ability. It is a beautiful compromise between the need for rest and the constant demands of life in the open ocean. Seahorses are among the only species where males give birth. In the world of seahorses, the traditional roles of reproduction are reversed in a way that is unique among vertebrates. It is the male, not the female, who carries the developing young. The female deposits her eggs into a specialized brood pouch on the male's abdomen, where he fertilizes them and seals the pouch shut. Over the following weeks, the male provides the embryos with oxygen and nutrients through a network of blood vessels lining the pouch, regulating the internal environment much as a mammalian uterus would. When the young are ready, the male undergoes contractions and releases dozens to hundreds of tiny, fully formed seahorses into the water. Each miniature seahorse is immediately independent, drifting away to begin its own life. This arrangement allows the female to begin producing the next batch of eggs while the male is still gestating, effectively doubling the reproductive rate of the pair. It is one of nature's most unexpected arrangements, playing out quietly in shallow coastal waters around the world. Certain fish can change sex depending on social conditions. Many species of reef fish have the remarkable ability to change their biological sex in response to social circumstances. In species like the clownfish, all individuals are born male. The largest and most dominant fish in a group becomes female, and if she dies or is removed, the next largest male transforms into a female to take her place. In other species, the pattern is reversed, with the dominant individual being male and younger fish starting as female. This process, known as sequential hermaphroditism, is controlled by hormonal changes triggered by social cues. The transformation can involve changes to the gonads, behavior, body size, and even coloration. It typically takes a few weeks to complete. This flexibility allows populations to maintain an optimal ratio of males to females regardless of unpredictable losses to predation or disease. It is a strategy that maximizes reproductive success in environments where finding a mate of the right sex cannot always be guaranteed. The quiet adaptability of reef fish is yet another reminder of life's resourcefulness. Electric eels can generate shocks of up to 600 volts. Despite their name, electric eels are not true eels, but rather a type of knife fish found in the rivers and swamps of South America. Their bodies contain specialized cells called electrocytes, stacked in series like tiny batteries along most of the animal's length. When activated simultaneously, these cells can produce an electrical discharge of up to 600 volts, enough to stun prey, deter predators, and even incapacitate a human. The eel uses lower voltage pulses for navigation and communication, sensing its surroundings through the distortions that objects create in its electrical field. When hunting, it delivers a rapid series of high-voltage shocks that cause the muscles of nearby fish to contract involuntarily, forcing them out of hiding and immobilizing them for capture. The eel itself is protected from its own shocks by the insulating arrangement of its vital organs, which are concentrated near the head and shielded from the electrical output. It is a living weapon, wielding a force that humans would not harness until thousands of years later. Pistol shrimp snap their claws fast enough to create underwater explosions. The pistol shrimp possesses one oversized claw that it can snap shut with such extraordinary speed that it creates a phenomenon known as cavitation. When the claw closes, it forces out a jet of water so rapidly that a tiny bubble forms in its wake. This bubble collapses almost instantly, producing a shockwave powerful enough to stun or kill small prey. The snap is one of the loudest sounds in the ocean, reaching well over 200 decibels, rivaling the noise produced by much larger animals such as sperm whales. The entire process takes less than a millisecond. The shrimp uses this ability both for hunting and for defending its burrow from intruders. Colonies of snapping shrimp can produce such a constant barrage of pops and cracks that they interfere with sonar equipment used by submarines. Despite being only a few centimeters long, the pistol shrimp commands a disproportionate influence over its underwater environment. It is a tiny creature with a weapon that operates on the boundary between biology and physics. The collapsing bubble from a pistol shrimp's snap reaches temperatures rivaling the sun. When the cavitation bubble produced by a pistol shrimp's claw snap collapses, the resulting implosion generates conditions that are difficult to believe. For a fleeting instant, the temperature inside the collapsing bubble can exceed 4,000 degrees Celsius, approaching the temperature of the surface of the sun. This extreme heat is accompanied by a brief flash of light, a phenomenon known as sonoluminescence. The flash is far too faint and too fast for the human eye to detect, lasting only billionths of a second, but it has been captured by sensitive laboratory instruments. The physics behind this process involve the rapid compression of gas inside the bubble, which concentrates energy into an incredibly small space. The shrimp itself is entirely unaffected by these extreme conditions, as the heat and light dissipate almost instantaneously in the surrounding water. It is an astonishing intersection of biology and extreme physics, occurring countless times each day on coral reefs and ocean floors around the world. Nature, it seems, discovered weaponized plasma long before we did. Mantis shrimp can see more colors than humans ever will. The mantis shrimp has one of the most complex visual systems in the entire animal kingdom. While humans have 3 types of color receptors in their eyes, the mantis shrimp has up to 16. These receptors span a range of wavelengths far beyond human perception, extending into the ultraviolet and possibly into the infrared. Each eye can move independently and is divided into 3 regions, each providing a slightly different view of the world. This trinocular vision in a single eye means the mantis shrimp can perceive depth with just 1 eye, something humans require 2 eyes to achieve. The sheer number of color receptors does not necessarily mean that mantis shrimp experience a richer palette than we do. Instead, their visual system may be designed for rapid recognition of colors rather than fine discrimination between subtle shades. They process color information at the level of the eye itself, reducing the workload on the brain. It is a visual world entirely alien to our own, unfolding in a spectrum we will never directly experience. Mantis shrimp possess up to 16 types of color receptors. The 16 types of photoreceptor cells found in the eyes of certain mantis shrimp species represent an extraordinary investment in visual hardware. 12 of these receptor types are devoted to color vision, covering a spectrum from deep ultraviolet to far red. The remaining 4 are used to detect polarized light, a form of light that most animals, including humans, cannot perceive at all. Polarized light detection may help mantis shrimp communicate with one another, as some species reflect polarized patterns from their bodies that are invisible to predators but clearly visible to other mantis shrimp. This private communication channel is thought to play a role in mating displays and territorial signaling. The arrangement of the eye itself is unusual, with a midband of specialized cells running across the center, flanked by hemispheres that provide spatial vision. The mantis shrimp scans its environment by moving its eyes in rapid, sweeping motions, building up a detailed picture over time. This visual system is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering, fine-tuned over millions of years for life on the colorful coral reef. Giant squid have eyes the size of dinner plates. The giant squid possesses the largest eyes of any known animal, with each eye measuring up to roughly 27 centimeters in diameter, about the size of a dinner plate. These enormous eyes evolved to function in the near-total darkness of the deep ocean, where the squid spends much of its life at depths of several hundred meters or more. The oversized pupils allow the maximum amount of available light to enter, while a large retina provides the surface area needed to detect faint bioluminescent glows and the subtle movements of predators or prey. One of the primary threats to the giant squid is the sperm whale, and researchers believe the squid's massive eyes may have evolved specifically to spot the faint disturbance caused by a whale moving through the dark water at a distance. Detecting a predator from far away gives the squid precious seconds to escape. Despite their impressive size, giant squid remain among the most elusive creatures on Earth, rarely seen alive by humans. Their enormous eyes watch a world we have barely begun to explore. Some squids can detach glowing arms to distract predators. In the deep ocean, where light is scarce and escape routes are limited, certain species of squid have developed a dramatic defense mechanism. When threatened, they can deliberately detach one or more of their arms. The severed arm continues to wriggle and, in some species, emits bioluminescent flashes that draw the predator's attention away from the squid's retreating body. This is similar in concept to a lizard dropping its tail, but the addition of light makes the decoy far more effective in the darkness of the deep sea. The glowing, twitching arm creates a convincing distraction, buying the squid enough time to jet away into the blackness. Over time, the lost arm can be regenerated, though the process is slow compared to the immediate benefit of surviving the encounter. Several deep-sea squid species use this strategy, each with slight variations in the brightness and duration of the bioluminescent display. It is a sacrifice made in an instant, a flash of light traded for the chance to live another day in the silent depths. Sea cucumbers can eject their internal organs to escape predators. Sea cucumbers have developed one of the most unusual defense mechanisms in the animal kingdom. When threatened by a predator, certain species can violently contract their muscles and expel some of their internal organs, including parts of their intestines and respiratory structures, through an opening at the rear of their body. The ejected organs are sticky and sometimes toxic, entangling and deterring the attacker, while the sea cucumber slowly crawls to safety. What makes this behavior even more remarkable is that the sea cucumber can completely regenerate the lost organs over a period of weeks. The ability to sacrifice vital structures and then rebuild them from scratch speaks to an extraordinary regenerative capacity. Some species expel specialized sticky threads called Cuverian tubules instead of actual organs, which adhere to anything they contact. This dramatic act of self-evisceration is a last resort, used when other defenses have failed. It is difficult to imagine a more extreme survival strategy, yet for the sea cucumber, it is simply another quiet day on the ocean floor. Antarctic icefish have transparent blood without hemoglobin. The Antarctic icefish is the only known vertebrate that completely lacks hemoglobin, the iron-rich protein that gives blood its red color and carries oxygen in virtually every other backboned animal. The blood of the icefish is transparent, almost colorless, flowing through its body like pale liquid glass. Without hemoglobin, the icefish relies on oxygen dissolved directly in its plasma, which is possible only because the frigid Antarctic waters it inhabits are so cold that they hold unusually high concentrations of dissolved oxygen. To compensate for the inefficiency of this arrangement, the icefish has evolved a larger heart and wider blood vessels than similarly sized fish, pumping a greater volume of blood with each beat. Its scaleless skin is also thought to absorb some oxygen directly from the surrounding water. The loss of hemoglobin appears to have happened through a genetic mutation millions of years ago, and the extreme environment of the Southern Ocean made survival without it just barely possible. It is a startling example of evolution finding a way to function even after losing a molecule most animals cannot live without. Certain fish produce antifreeze proteins to survive freezing waters. In the icy waters of the Arctic and Antarctic, temperatures regularly drop below the freezing point of most body fluids. Fish living in these environments would quickly form lethal ice crystals inside their cells, if not for a remarkable biochemical defense. Many polar fish species produce antifreeze proteins that circulate in their blood and bind to the surface of tiny ice crystals as soon as they begin to form. By latching onto the growing edges of the crystals, these proteins prevent them from enlarging and spreading, effectively keeping the fish's body fluids in a supercooled liquid state. Different species have evolved different types of antifreeze proteins, each with its own molecular structure, suggesting that this survival strategy has arisen independently multiple times throughout evolutionary history. Some of these proteins are so effective that they can lower the freezing point of the fish's blood by more than a full degree. Without them, life in the coldest oceans on Earth would be impossible for many species. It is a quiet chemical triumph, playing out in every cell of a fish gliding through waters that should, by all rights, turn it to ice. Wood frogs can freeze solid in winter and revive in spring. The wood frog of North America has one of the most extraordinary survival strategies in the animal kingdom. As winter temperatures plunge below freezing, the frog allows ice to form within its body. Up to 2/3 of its total body water can turn to ice, and during this frozen state, the frog shows no heartbeat, no breathing, and no brain activity. By every conventional measure, it appears to be dead. Yet the frog survives because it floods its cells with glucose, a natural cryoprotectant that prevents ice from forming inside the cells themselves. The ice that does form is confined to the spaces between cells, where it causes less damage. When spring arrives and temperatures rise, the frog thaws from the inside out. The heart begins beating first, followed by breathing, and within hours the animal hops away as though nothing had happened. This freeze tolerance has been studied extensively by researchers interested in organ preservation and cryobiology. The wood frog demonstrates that the boundary between life and death can be far more flexible than we might assume. The cheetah can accelerate faster than most sports cars. The cheetah is the fastest land animal on Earth, capable of reaching speeds of over 100 kilometers per hour in short bursts, covering distances of up to 500 meters. What is perhaps even more impressive than its top speed is its acceleration. A cheetah can go from a standstill to around 95 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds, a rate of acceleration that rivals or exceeds many high-performance sports cars. This explosive power comes from its long, flexible spine, which acts like a spring, and its oversized leg muscles, which deliver tremendous force with each stride. The cheetah's large nasal passages and expanded lungs allow rapid oxygen intake during a sprint, while its long tail provides balance during sharp turns. Its semi-retractable claws grip the ground like running spikes. However, such speed comes at a cost. A cheetah can sustain a full sprint for only about 30 seconds before it risks overheating. After a chase, it must rest and pant heavily to cool down, during which time it is vulnerable to larger predators stealing its prey. Speed, in nature, is always a trade-off. Polar bears have black skin beneath their transparent fur. Beneath the thick white coat of a polar bear lies a surprising secret. The skin underneath is entirely black. This dark pigmentation is thought to help the bear absorb heat from the sun, which reaches the skin through the translucent shafts of its fur. Each individual hair is actually hollow and transparent, not white. The hairs scatter and reflect visible light, which is why the bear appears white to our eyes, providing excellent camouflage against the snow and ice of the Arctic. The hollow structure of the fur also traps air, adding an extra layer of insulation against the extreme cold. Beneath the skin, a thick layer of blubber up to 11 centimeters deep provides further protection from frigid temperatures and serves as an energy reserve during lean periods. This combination of black skin, transparent fur, and dense blubber makes the polar bear superbly adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth. It is a beautifully engineered system, quietly absorbing and retaining heat in a world of ice and freezing wind. Naked mole rats feel almost no pain from acid. Naked mole rats are small, nearly hairless rodents that live in underground colonies in East Africa. Among their many unusual traits is a remarkable insensitivity to certain types of pain. Researchers have discovered that naked mole rats lack a key neurotransmitter called substance P in their skin nerve fibers, which in most mammals transmits pain signals caused by acid and capsaicin, the compound that makes chili peppers burn. As a result, naked mole rats show virtually no pain response when exposed to acid. This adaptation is thought to be linked to their environment. The air in their crowded underground tunnels contains unusually high levels of carbon dioxide, which dissolves in moisture on the skin and forms a mild acid. An animal that experienced constant pain from this acid would be at a severe disadvantage. By losing the ability to sense acid-induced pain, naked mole rats can thrive in conditions that would torment most other mammals. It is a remarkable example of how evolution can reshape the very experience of sensation to match the demands of a particular way of life. Naked mole rats can survive without oxygen for extended periods. Naked mole rats live in dense, poorly ventilated underground colonies where oxygen levels can drop to dangerously low concentrations. To cope with this, they have evolved a metabolic flexibility that is almost unheard of among mammals. When oxygen becomes scarce, naked mole rats can switch their cells to a form of energy production that uses fructose instead of glucose. This metabolic pathway, normally associated with plants, allows their vital organs, including the brain and heart, to continue functioning without oxygen for periods that would be fatal to virtually any other mammal. In laboratory experiments, naked mole rats have survived in atmospheres with oxygen levels low enough to kill a mouse within minutes. They slow their movements, lower their heart rate, and enter a state of dramatically reduced activity until oxygen returns. This ability has attracted significant interest from medical researchers, who hope that understanding the naked mole rats' metabolic tricks might lead to new treatments for heart attacks and strokes, conditions in which human cells are damaged by oxygen deprivation. It is a humble creature with lessons that could one day save human lives. Vampire bats share blood meals with hungry colony members. Vampire bats are one of the few mammal species that practice reciprocal food sharing with unrelated individuals. These small bats feed exclusively on blood, and because a single missed meal can be lethal, since they can starve within just a couple of days, they have developed a social insurance system. When a bat returns to the roost with a full stomach, it will regurgitate a portion of its blood meal and share it with colony members that were unsuccessful in their own hunt. Crucially, they tend to share with individuals who have shared with them in the past, creating a network of reciprocal relationships. Bats that fail to reciprocate are eventually cut off from future donations. This behavior requires the ability to recognize individuals and remember past interactions, suggesting a sophisticated level of social cognition. Researchers have observed that vampire bats also groom one another extensively, strengthening social bonds that underpin the sharing system. It is a surprisingly cooperative arrangement for creatures often associated with horror stories, a quiet community built on mutual dependence. Bats are the only mammals capable of sustained flight. While several mammal species can glide through the air, including flying squirrels and colugos, bats are the only ones capable of true, powered flight. Their wings are formed from a thin membrane of skin stretched between elongated finger bones, creating a flexible airfoil that can be adjusted with remarkable precision during flight. This design gives bats exceptional maneuverability, allowing them to twist, turn, and hover in ways that most birds cannot match. Bats first appeared in the fossil record tens of millions of years ago, and flight gave them access to a vast ecological niche, the night sky, where they face little competition from birds. Today, there are more than 1,400 species of bat, making them the second most diverse order of mammals after rodents. They occupy habitats on every continent except Antarctica and play vital roles as pollinators, seed dispersers, and insect controllers. A single insectivorous bat can consume hundreds of mosquitoes in a single night. It is a quiet dominion of the darkness, held by creatures most of us rarely see. Birds can sleep while flying using unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. Certain bird species undertake migrations that last days or even weeks without landing, raising the obvious question of when and how they sleep. Research has revealed that some birds can sleep while airborne, using a strategy called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. In this state, one hemisphere of the brain enters sleep while the other remains awake, keeping the bird aware of its surroundings and maintaining flight control. Studies of frigate birds using portable brain monitoring equipment showed that they slept for brief periods during long oceanic flights, sometimes with one hemisphere and sometimes with both, though total sleep was far less than they would normally get on land. The birds tended to sleep while circling on rising air currents, where the demands of active flying were minimal. Alpine swifts have been recorded staying airborne for over 200 days without landing, suggesting that aerial sleep is not just an occasional trick, but an essential survival skill. It is a remarkable adaptation, allowing birds to rest on the wing while the world turns slowly beneath them. Birds have hollow bones that make flight possible. The skeleton of a flying bird is a masterpiece of lightweight engineering. Many of the major bones are hollow, containing air-filled cavities reinforced by thin internal struts called trabeculae, which provide structural strength without adding unnecessary weight. These pneumatized bones are connected to the bird's respiratory system, and air sacs extend into the bone cavities, making respiration more efficient during the demanding activity of flight. Despite being hollow, bird bones are not fragile. The internal cross-bracing gives them a strength-to-weight ratio that surpasses solid bone, much like the design of a well-engineered bridge. This skeletal lightness is complemented by other weight-saving adaptations, including the fusion of certain bones to reduce the number of joints and the replacement of teeth with a lightweight beak. The result is a body optimized for becoming airborne. Not all bird bones are hollow, however. Flightless birds like ostriches have denser bones, and even in flying species, the leg bones are often solid to withstand the impact of landing. The hollow bones of birds are a quiet triumph of natural engineering, shaped over millions of years for the sky. Some birds navigate using Earth's magnetic field. Many migratory birds travel thousands of kilometers between breeding and wintering grounds, often returning to the same locations year after year with extraordinary precision. One of the ways they achieve this is by sensing Earth's magnetic field. Researchers believe birds possess a form of magnetoreception, possibly involving tiny iron-based particles in their beaks or a light-sensitive chemical process in their eyes. This internal compass allows them to detect the direction and intensity of the magnetic field, providing a reliable reference point even when visual landmarks, the sun, and the stars are obscured by clouds. Experiments in which the magnetic field around captive birds was artificially altered showed that the birds changed their preferred flight direction accordingly, confirming the existence of this sense. Some studies suggest that birds may actually see the magnetic field as a visual overlay, a pattern of light or shadow superimposed on their normal vision. This would make navigation a seamless part of their visual experience. It is a hidden sense, operating beyond our awareness, guiding birds across continents with a reliability that human technology has only recently begun to match. Birds can perceive ultraviolet light, invisible to humans. The visual world of birds is richer than our own in ways we can only begin to imagine. Most bird species have 4 types of cone cells in their retinas, compared to the 3 types found in humans. The additional cone type is sensitive to ultraviolet wavelengths, a range of light that is completely invisible to the human eye. This means birds perceive an extra dimension of color in everything they see. Plumage that appears plain to us may display vivid ultraviolet patterns visible only to other birds, playing an important role in mate selection. Many fruits and berries reflect ultraviolet light, making them easier for birds to spot among green foliage. Some predatory birds can even detect the ultraviolet reflecting urine trails left by rodents, helping them locate prey from the air. The ability to see ultraviolet light transforms the world into a more detailed and informative place. Flowers, feathers, and landscapes all carry hidden signals that birds read effortlessly. It is a gentle reminder that reality looks different depending on who is doing the looking, and that our own vision captures only a narrow slice of what is truly there. Certain birds sing in regional dialects unique to their populations. Birdsong is not simply an instinctive behavior. In many species, young birds learn their songs by listening to adult tutors, and this process of cultural transmission leads to the emergence of regional dialects. Populations of the same species living just a few kilometers apart can develop distinctly different versions of the same song. These dialects arise because small variations are introduced during the learning process, and over time, the accumulated differences become characteristic of a particular area. Researchers have mapped birdsong dialects across entire continents and found patterns that shift gradually from region to region, much like human accents. In some cases, female birds prefer males that sing the local dialect, which reinforces the geographic distinctiveness of each population's song. Dialects can change over time as well, evolving in response to new environmental acoustics or shifting social influences. The study of birdsong dialects has provided valuable insights into how culture and learning shape animal behavior. It is a quiet demonstration that even in the natural world, where you come from can influence how you speak. Crows can create and use tools to solve problems. Crows and their close relatives in the corvid family are among the most intelligent animals on Earth. New Caledonian crows, in particular, have been observed fashioning tools from twigs, leaves, and even wire in laboratory experiments. They strip away unwanted material, bend wire into hooks, and use these tools to extract insects from crevices or retrieve food from containers that would otherwise be inaccessible. This behavior requires not just physical dexterity, but also the ability to plan ahead and understand cause and effect. Crows have been recorded solving multi-step puzzles, using one tool to retrieve a second tool that is needed to access food. They can also learn by observing other crows and pass successful techniques along through their social group. Brain imaging studies have revealed that corvids possess a forebrain region that is functionally analogous to the prefrontal cortex in primates, the area responsible for planning and problem-solving. Their intelligence appears to have evolved independently from that of mammals, demonstrating that complex cognition can arise along very different evolutionary paths. It is a humbling thought, watching a bird solve a problem with quiet determination. Penguins propose to mates by offering carefully chosen pebbles. In several species of penguin, particularly Adelie and Gentoo penguins, males select a pebble from the surrounding landscape and present it to a prospective female as part of their courtship display. The pebble is not chosen at random. Males appear to search carefully for the smoothest and most symmetrical stone they can find before placing it at the female's feet. If she accepts, the pair will use the pebble, along with many others, to build a nest that elevates their eggs above the cold, wet ground. Pebbles are a valuable resource in the barren Antarctic environment, and competition for the best stones can be fierce. Males have been observed stealing pebbles from unguarded nests, and disputes over particularly desirable stones are common. The act of offering a pebble has become one of the most well-known courtship rituals in the animal kingdom, often described in romantic terms. While the behavior is primarily practical, serving the essential function of nest construction, there is something undeniably tender about the sight of a small penguin carefully presenting a gift to the one it has chosen. Monarch butterflies migrate thousands of miles across generations. Every autumn, millions of monarch butterflies in North America begin a southward journey of up to 4,000 kilometers, traveling from Canada and the northern United States to their wintering grounds in the mountain forests of central Mexico. What makes this migration extraordinary is that no single butterfly completes the entire round trip. The generation that flies south overwinters in Mexico and begins the return journey in spring, but it takes several successive generations to reach the northern breeding grounds again. Each generation hatches, flies a portion of the route, reproduces, and dies, passing the migratory instinct to the next. How each new generation knows the correct direction and destination remains one of the great mysteries of biology. Researchers believe monarchs use a combination of the sun's position, Earth's magnetic field, and an internal circadian clock to navigate. The butterflies that arrive in Mexico each autumn have never been there before, yet they cluster on the same trees their ancestors used. It is a journey written not in memory, but in genes, carried forward across generations on fragile wings. Butterflies taste with their feet. Butterflies have taste sensors located on the bottoms of their feet, allowing them to identify food sources the moment they land. When a butterfly alights on a leaf or flower, the chemoreceptors on its tarsi immediately detect the chemical composition of the surface beneath it. This tells the butterfly whether the plant is a suitable food source, or for females, a suitable host plant on which to lay eggs. If the chemical signature is right, the butterfly unfurls its proboscis, a long, coiled tube, and begins to drink nectar. If the plant is unsuitable, the butterfly moves on without wasting energy. This system of tasting by touch is extraordinarily efficient in an environment where time and energy are precious resources. Female butterflies are particularly selective because the survival of their caterpillars depends on being placed on exactly the right species of plant. The ability to assess a plant in an instant, simply by landing on it, gives butterflies a quiet efficiency that belies their delicate appearance. Every graceful landing is also a rapid chemical analysis, carried out in the blink of an eye. Fireflies produce light without generating heat. The soft glow of a firefly on a summer evening is produced by one of the most efficient light-generating processes in nature. The light comes from a chemical reaction involving a molecule called luciferin and an enzyme called luciferase, which combine in the presence of oxygen and energy from adenosine triphosphate to produce photons of light with almost no heat. This is known as bioluminescence, and it is remarkably efficient. Nearly 100% of the energy involved in the reaction is converted into light, compared to a traditional incandescent light bulb, which loses most of its energy as heat. Fireflies use their glow primarily for communication, particularly during mating. Each species has a distinctive flash pattern that allows males and females to recognize one another in the dark. Some species synchronize their flashes, creating waves of light that ripple through the night. The chemistry behind firefly light has also found practical applications in medical research, where luciferase is used as a marker to track biological processes inside living cells. It is a gentle light born from chemistry, flickering quietly in the warm darkness. Dragonflies can see almost 360 degrees around them. Dragonflies are among the most visually accomplished predators in the insect world. Their large compound eyes contain up to 30,000 individual facets called ommatidia, each one capturing a small portion of the visual field. Together, these facets provide nearly complete panoramic vision, covering almost 360 degrees around the insect, with only a small blind spot directly behind. This extraordinary field of view allows dragonflies to detect prey and predators approaching from virtually any direction. Their visual acuity is further enhanced by an exceptionally high flicker fusion rate, meaning they can process visual information much faster than humans, perceiving rapid movements that would appear as a blur to our eyes. This makes them devastatingly effective aerial hunters. Studies have shown that dragonflies intercept their prey with a success rate of over 90%, far higher than most other predators. They calculate the trajectory of their target and fly to intercept it, a strategy that requires remarkable computational ability for such a small brain. It is a world seen in mosaic, sharp and fast, where every movement is noticed and nothing escapes unseen. Some insects can survive complete decapitation for days. It may sound like something from a horror film, but certain insects can continue living for days or even weeks after losing their heads. This is possible because insect anatomy is fundamentally different from that of mammals. Insects breathe through tiny openings called spiracles distributed along their body segments, so they do not need a head to take in oxygen. Their nervous system is decentralized, with clusters of nerve cells called ganglia in each body segment capable of controlling local movements independently. Blood in insects does not carry oxygen the way it does in vertebrates, so the loss of the head does not cause fatal bleeding. The wound simply clots. A headless insect can still stand, walk, and respond to touch, guided by the ganglia in its thorax and abdomen. It will eventually die of starvation since it can no longer eat, but the body carries on with surprising normality in the meantime. Cockroaches are perhaps the most famous example of this resilience. It is a stark illustration of just how differently life can be organized beneath the surface. Cockroaches can survive without food for up to a month. Cockroaches are legendary survivors, and their ability to endure long periods without food is one of the traits that makes them so difficult to eradicate. An adult cockroach can live for roughly a month without eating, provided it has access to water. Without water, it will survive for about a week. This resilience is partly due to their cold-blooded metabolism, which requires far less energy than that of a warm-blooded animal of comparable size. Cockroaches can also slow their metabolism dramatically when food is scarce, entering a near-dormant state that conserves energy. Their digestive systems harbor specialized bacteria that help extract maximum nutrition from whatever scraps they consume, including substances that most animals would find indigestible. Cockroaches have been on Earth for over 300 million years, surviving mass extinctions and environmental upheavals that eliminated far more conspicuous creatures. Their ability to eat almost anything, reproduce rapidly, and endure prolonged deprivation makes them among the hardiest organisms on the planet. It is not glamorous, but it is quietly effective, a survival strategy refined over an almost incomprehensible span of time. Certain beetles can survive losing their heads. Some beetle species share the cockroach's unsettling ability to survive for a time without their heads. The decentralized nervous system and open circulatory system of insects allow the body to continue functioning even after such a catastrophic injury. The headless beetle can walk, right itself when flipped over, and respond to basic stimuli. Because insects breathe through spiracles along their body rather than through a mouth or nose, respiration continues uninterrupted. The wound at the neck seals relatively quickly, preventing fatal fluid loss. The beetle will eventually die because it cannot eat, but the body's basic functions carry on with remarkable persistence. This resilience is not limited to a single species. Many insects share a body plan that distributes vital functions so widely that no single point of failure can bring the whole system down immediately. It is a fundamentally different approach to survival from the centralized design of vertebrates, where the loss of the head is immediately fatal. The beetle's quiet endurance after such an injury reveals just how alien and robust insect biology truly is. The bombardier beetle sprays boiling chemicals as defense. The bombardier beetle has one of the most dramatic defense mechanisms in the insect world. When threatened, it fires a jet of boiling, noxious liquid from the tip of its abdomen with a loud popping sound. The spray reaches temperatures close to 100 degrees Celsius and is directed with impressive accuracy toward the attacker. The beetle produces this weapon by storing two chemical precursors, hydroquinone and hydrogen peroxide, in separate chambers within its abdomen. When danger strikes, the chemicals are mixed in a reaction chamber along with catalytic enzymes that trigger a violent exothermic reaction. The resulting explosion of steam and irritant chemicals can be fired in rapid pulses, allowing the beetle to adjust its aim and conserve its supply. The internal chambers are lined with materials that resist the heat and corrosive effects of the reaction, protecting the beetle from its own weapon. This chemical defense system has been the subject of intense scientific study and debate. It is a miniature artillery system, engineered by evolution and carried by a beetle small enough to sit on your thumbnail. Water striders walk on water using surface tension. Water striders are small insects that appear to glide effortlessly across the surface of ponds and streams, seemingly defying gravity. Their secret lies in the microscopic structure of their legs, which are covered in thousands of tiny, water-repellent hairs. These hairs trap a thin layer of air between the leg and the water surface, preventing the insect from breaking through. The surface tension of the water acts like a thin elastic membrane, supporting the strider's weight as long as the force is distributed evenly across its long, splayed legs. Each leg creates a tiny dimple in the water surface without puncturing it. Water striders use this ability to hunt, skating rapidly toward insects that have fallen onto the water and become trapped. They detect their prey by sensing vibrations transmitted across the surface film. Some species can even jump off the water surface without breaking through, a feat that requires precise control of the forces involved. It is a delicate partnership between physics and biology, playing out on the quiet surfaces of still water everywhere. Some ants farm fungi to feed their colonies. Leafcutter ants are among the most sophisticated farmers in the animal kingdom. These tiny insects cut fresh leaves from plants and carry them back to their underground colonies, but they do not eat the leaves themselves. Instead, they chew the leaf material into a pulp and use it as a substrate to cultivate a specific species of fungus. The fungus grows on the leaf mulch, breaking it down and producing nutrient-rich structures that the ants then harvest and feed to their larvae. This mutualistic relationship has been maintained for millions of years, with the fungus depending on the ants for its food supply and the ants depending on the fungus for theirs. The ants tend their fungal gardens with remarkable care, removing contaminated material and applying natural antibiotics produced by bacteria living on their bodies to prevent harmful molds from taking over. Some leafcutter colonies can contain millions of individuals, with chambers of fungal gardens extending meters beneath the earth. It is agriculture on a scale and with a sophistication that predates human farming by tens of millions of years. Army ants build living bridges from their own bodies. Army ants are nomadic predators that move in massive columns through tropical forests, overwhelming and consuming virtually any small creature in their path. When the swarm encounters a gap in its route, such as a break between two leaves or a crevice in the ground, worker ants link their bodies together to form a living bridge. They grip one another with their legs and mandibles, creating a stable structure that the rest of the colony can walk across. The ants forming the bridge remain motionless, sacrificing their own time and energy for the benefit of the group. Researchers have found that these living bridges are not rigid structures, but are constantly adjusting. Individual ants join or leave the bridge as traffic flow changes, optimizing the width and position of the structure in real time. The colony effectively performs a cost-benefit analysis, balancing the number of ants immobilized in the bridge against the time saved by the remaining workers using the shortcut. It is collective engineering without a blueprint, emerging from simple rules followed by thousands of individuals acting in concert. Certain ants explode themselves to defend their colony. In the rainforests of Southeast Asia, a group of ants has evolved one of the most extreme defensive behaviors known in the animal kingdom. When workers of certain Colobopsis species are confronted by a threat they cannot repel, they deliberately rupture their own bodies. By violently contracting their abdominal muscles, they burst open, releasing a sticky, toxic secretion that entangles and poisons the attacker. The ant dies instantly, but the intruder is often killed or immobilized as well, protecting the rest of the colony. This behavior is known as autothysis, and it represents the ultimate act of self-sacrifice. The toxic substance is produced by enlarged glands that run the length of the ant's body, and it has been described by researchers as having a spice-like odor. The willingness of individual workers to destroy themselves for the benefit of the colony is driven by the logic of kin selection. Since workers share a high proportion of their genes with the queen and her offspring, sacrificing one individual to save many relatives makes evolutionary sense. It is a fierce and final act of devotion, carried out without hesitation. Bees can recognize and remember human faces. Honeybees have demonstrated an unexpected ability to distinguish between different human faces, a skill that was once thought to require the sophisticated neural architecture found only in primates. In controlled experiments, bees were trained to associate a specific human face with a sugar reward. They quickly learned to fly toward the correct face and could reliably distinguish it from other faces even when the images were rearranged or presented in different orientations. The bees retained this ability for at least 2 days, suggesting that the memory was not merely short-term. Their brains contain fewer than 1 million neurons, compared to the roughly 86 billion found in the human brain, yet they accomplish this task with remarkable accuracy. Researchers believe the bees are not recognizing faces in the way that humans do, but are instead using a pattern-matching strategy, identifying the unique arrangement of features as a visual configuration. This finding has implications for understanding how complex recognition tasks can be achieved by very simple neural systems. It is a quiet revelation that intelligence and recognition need not depend on a large or complex brain. Spider silk is stronger than steel by weight. Spider silk is one of the most remarkable materials produced by any living organism. Pound for pound, certain types of spider silk are stronger than steel and tougher than Kevlar, the material used in bulletproof vests. This extraordinary strength comes from the molecular structure of the silk proteins, which are arranged in crystalline regions connected by flexible, stretchy segments. The crystalline regions provide tensile strength, while the flexible segments allow the silk to stretch significantly before breaking. This combination of strength and elasticity means that a web can absorb the energy of a flying insect without snapping. Different spiders produce different types of silk for different purposes, including structural threads for the web frame, sticky capture threads, and fine silk for wrapping prey. Some spiders can produce up to 7 different types of silk from specialized glands. Scientists have spent decades trying to replicate spider silk synthetically for use in medicine, engineering, and textiles. Despite significant progress, no artificial version has yet matched all the properties of the natural material. It is a fiber spun quietly by creatures most of us overlook, yet it outperforms the finest products of human engineering. Horned lizards can shoot blood from their eyes as defense. The horned lizard of North America has one of the most bizarre defense mechanisms in the reptile world. When seriously threatened, particularly by canine or feline predators, it can squirt a stream of blood from the corners of its eyes. The blood is directed at the attacker's face with surprising accuracy and can travel a distance of up to 1.5 meters. The blood contains chemical compounds that taste foul to many predators, especially canids such as coyotes and wolves, causing them to recoil and abandon the attack. The lizard achieves this by restricting blood flow from the head, which increases pressure in the sinus cavities around the eyes until tiny blood vessels rupture and release a jet of blood. The lizard can lose up to 1/3 of its total blood volume in a single episode, but recovers quickly. This defense is not used indiscriminately. The lizard first relies on camouflage and its spiny body armor before resorting to such an extreme measure. It is a startling spectacle, a small, unassuming reptile turning its own blood into a weapon in the most literal sense imaginable. Chameleons shoot their tongues farther than their body length. The tongue of a chameleon is one of the fastest and most powerful muscles in the animal kingdom relative to body size. It can be launched at prey in as little as 1/100th of a second, accelerating with a force that exceeds anything the muscles alone could produce. The secret lies in a system of elastic collagen sheaths that store energy like a compressed spring. When the tongue is released, the stored energy propels it forward at accelerations that can exceed 100 times the force of gravity. The tongue can extend to more than twice the chameleon's body length, striking an insect with a sticky suction cup tip that grips the prey and pulls it back into the mouth. The entire capture takes place so quickly that the human eye can barely follow it. Smaller chameleon species tend to have proportionally longer and faster tongues than their larger relatives, a scaling effect that makes tiny chameleons among the most explosive feeders in the vertebrate world. It is a quiet hunter perched on a branch, motionless for minutes, before delivering a strike of breathtaking speed. Rattlesnakes sense heat with special pits on their faces. Rattlesnakes and other pit vipers possess a pair of heat-sensing organs located in small depressions between their eyes and nostrils, known as loreal pits. These pits are lined with a thin membrane packed with temperature-sensitive nerve endings capable of detecting infrared radiation emitted by warm-blooded animals. The sensitivity is extraordinary. A pit viper can detect temperature differences as small as a fraction of a degree, allowing it to build a thermal image of its surroundings even in total darkness. This heat sense effectively gives the snake a form of infrared vision, enabling it to locate, track, and accurately strike warm-blooded prey without relying on sight or sound. The thermal information is processed in the same region of the brain that handles visual input, suggesting that the snake may perceive heat as an overlay on its normal vision. This dual sensory system makes pit vipers formidable nocturnal hunters, capable of finding prey that would be invisible to most other predators. It is a silent, invisible sense, detecting the warmth of life itself. Crocodiles can slow their heartbeats to near zero. Crocodiles are masters of patience, capable of lying motionless in water for hours while waiting for prey to come within striking distance. One of the physiological tricks that makes this possible is their ability to dramatically reduce their heart rate. When a crocodile submerges and holds still, its heart can slow to as few as 2 or 3 beats per minute, conserving oxygen and energy. During extended dives, blood flow is redirected away from the lungs and toward the brain and vital organs through a specialized cardiac shunt, a valve system unique to crocodilians. This allows the animal to remain underwater for well over an hour without needing to breathe. The slow heart rate also reduces the crocodile's metabolic demands, meaning it requires far less food than a mammal of comparable size. A large crocodile can survive for months on a single substantial meal. This extraordinary metabolic efficiency is one of the reasons crocodilians have survived for over 200 million years, outlasting the dinosaurs with which they once shared the planet. It is a cold, slow heartbeat sustaining one of the oldest predatory lineages on Earth. The platypus is one of the few venomous mammals. The platypus is one of nature's most unusual creations, and among its many peculiarities is the fact that the male carries venomous spurs on its hind legs. These sharp, hollow spurs are connected to venom glands in the thighs and can deliver a dose of venom powerful enough to cause excruciating pain in humans. The venom is composed of a complex cocktail of proteins, some of which are unique to the platypus and have no counterparts in other venomous animals. While the venom is not lethal to humans, it can cause severe swelling and intense pain that may persist for weeks and does not respond well to conventional painkillers. The spurs are primarily used during the breeding season, when males compete aggressively for access to females. This makes the platypus one of only a handful of venomous mammals, a category that also includes certain shrews and the solenodon. The existence of venom in a mammal challenges the common assumption that venomous creatures are limited to snakes, spiders, and insects. The platypus quietly defies classification at every turn. Horseshoe crabs have blue blood used in medical testing. Horseshoe crabs have been around for over 450 million years, older even than the dinosaurs, and their blood has become indispensable to modern medicine. Unlike the red, iron-based blood of vertebrates, horseshoe crab blood is blue because it uses copper-based hemocyanin to transport oxygen. More importantly, their blood contains a substance called limulus ambosite lysate, which clots immediately on contact with bacterial toxins called endotoxins. This property has made horseshoe crab blood the standard test for detecting bacterial contamination in medical equipment, injectable drugs, and vaccines. Every year, hundreds of thousands of horseshoe crabs are collected, bled, and returned to the ocean, though the process is not without consequences for the crabs. A synthetic alternative has been developed in recent years and is slowly gaining regulatory acceptance, which may eventually reduce the dependence on live horseshoe crabs. The fact that a creature virtually unchanged for hundreds of millions of years holds the key to ensuring the safety of modern pharmaceuticals is one of biology's most unexpected ironies. Its ancient blue blood quietly protects human lives every day. Baby kangaroos are born smaller than a jelly bean. A newborn kangaroo, called a joey, is one of the most underdeveloped infant mammals in the world. At birth, it is roughly the size of a jelly bean, weighing less than 1 gram and measuring about 2 centimeters in length. It is born blind, hairless, and with only partially formed limbs, more closely resembling an embryo than a fully formed animal. Despite this extreme immaturity, the tiny joey must immediately crawl from the birth canal to its mother's pouch, a journey of several centimeters that takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Once inside the pouch, it latches onto a nipple and remains attached for months, continuing its development in the warm, protected environment of the pouch. The mother's milk changes composition as the joey grows, adapting to its nutritional needs at each stage of development. Eventually, after several months, the joey is mature enough to begin venturing outside the pouch, though it will continue to return for milk and shelter for some time. It is a remarkable start to life, a tiny creature beginning its journey smaller than a bean and growing into an animal that can leap several meters in a single bound. Sponges are animals without organs, brains, or nerves. Sponges are among the simplest animals on Earth, yet they have thrived in the oceans for over 600 million years. They have no brain, no nervous system, no muscles, and no internal organs of any kind. Their bodies are essentially porous structures through which water flows continuously. Specialized cells called choanocytes line the interior chambers and beat tiny hair-like flagella to draw water in through the pores. As the water passes through, the sponge filters out bacteria, algae, and organic particles for food. Other cells handle tasks such as digestion, structural support, and reproduction. Despite their apparent simplicity, sponges play important roles in marine ecosystems. They filter enormous volumes of water, improving clarity and nutrient cycling. Some species form symbiotic relationships with photosynthetic microorganisms that provide additional energy. Sponges also produce a wide range of chemical compounds, some of which have shown potential as antibiotics and anti-cancer agents in medical research. They sit quietly on the ocean floor, lacking anything we would recognize as awareness, yet performing essential ecological services with ancient, unhurried efficiency. Coral reefs are built by tiny polyps no larger than a pinhead. Coral reefs are among the most complex and biodiverse ecosystems on the planet, yet they are constructed by organisms so small they can barely be seen with the naked eye. Each coral polyp is a soft-bodied animal, typically just a few millimeters across, related to jellyfish and sea anemones. The polyp extracts calcium carbonate from the surrounding seawater and secretes it as a hard limestone skeleton beneath its body. Over time, as generations of polyps build upon the skeletons of their predecessors, these tiny contributions accumulate into massive reef structures that can stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Most reef-building corals also harbor microscopic algae called zooxanthellae within their tissues, which photosynthesize and provide the coral with much of its energy. This symbiotic partnership is what gives corals their vivid colors and enables them to build reefs in the nutrient-poor waters of the tropics. When water temperatures rise too high, the corals expel their algae and turn white, a process known as bleaching that can be fatal. It is a fragile architecture, billions of tiny builders creating a living cathedral beneath the waves. Trees communicate through vast underground fungal networks. Beneath the forest floor lies a hidden web of fungal threads called mycelium that connects the roots of trees and plants across enormous distances. This network, sometimes called the Wood Wide Web, allows trees to share resources and exchange chemical signals with one another. Through their fungal partners, trees can transfer sugars, water, and nutrients to neighboring trees that are struggling, including seedlings growing in deep shade that cannot produce enough of their own food through photosynthesis. The relationship is mutualistic. The fungi receive sugars from the trees in exchange for extending the reach of the root system and delivering minerals such as phosphorus and nitrogen from the soil. Research has shown that older, larger trees, sometimes called mother trees, often serve as central hubs in this network, supporting the growth of younger trees around them. When a tree is attacked by insects, it can send chemical warning signals through the fungal network, prompting neighboring trees to activate their own defenses. It is a quiet, cooperative world beneath your feet, where trees are far more connected than they appear. Some fungi create networks larger than entire forests. The largest known living organism on Earth is not a whale, a tree, or an elephant. It is a fungus. A single specimen of Armillaria osti, commonly known as the honey fungus, has been found spreading beneath the soil of a forest in Oregon, covering an area of nearly 10 square kilometers. Its network of mycelial threads extends through the soil and into the roots of trees, feeding on the wood and slowly killing its hosts over decades. The organism is estimated to be thousands of years old, growing slowly and steadily through the underground darkness. From the surface, the only visible signs of its presence are clusters of honey-colored mushrooms that appear at the base of dying trees. Beneath the ground, however, the fungal network is continuous, a single organism connected by an unbroken web of threads. Other large fungal networks have been discovered in forests around the world, though none yet rival the Oregon specimen in size. It is a humbling reminder that the largest living thing on our planet is not something you can see, but something that quietly stretches beneath your feet. Certain fungi can turn ants into zombies. The Ophiocordyceps fungus is one of the most extraordinary parasites in nature. It infects certain species of carpenter ants by releasing spores that penetrate the ant's exoskeleton. Once inside, the fungus grows through the ant's body, gradually taking control of its behavior. The infected ant is compelled to leave its colony, climb to a specific height on a plant, and clamp its jaws onto a leaf or stem in what is sometimes called a death grip. This position provides the ideal temperature and humidity for the fungus to complete its life cycle. After the ant dies, the fungus continues to grow, eventually producing a long stalk that erupts from the ant's head and releases a shower of spores onto the forest floor below, where they can infect more ants. The precision of the behavioral manipulation is remarkable. The fungus does not simply kill its host. It directs it with exacting specificity to the location most favorable for its own reproduction. Scientists have described this as one of the most sophisticated examples of parasitic manipulation in the natural world. It is a quiet horror unfolding on leaves in tropical forests. Plants can send chemical distress signals through their roots. When a plant is under attack, whether from herbivores, pathogens, or environmental stress, it does not simply suffer in silence. Many plant species release chemical compounds from their roots into the surrounding soil. These chemicals can be detected by neighboring plants, which then activate their own defensive mechanisms in anticipation of the same threat. This underground communication occurs through direct diffusion of chemicals through the soil and also via the mycorrhizal fungal networks that connect root systems. Some plants release volatile organic compounds into the air as well, warning above-ground neighbors of danger. The chemicals involved are specific enough that neighboring plants can sometimes distinguish between different types of attack and tailor their defensive response accordingly. This ability to warn and prepare has been demonstrated in numerous species, from wild tobacco to broad beans. The result is a community of plants that responds collectively to threats, even though no individual plant has a nervous system or anything resembling a brain. It is communication at its most fundamental, a chemical conversation carried through the dark soil beneath a seemingly quiet garden. Some plants can detect the vibrations of caterpillars chewing. Researchers have discovered that certain plants can sense the specific vibrations caused by caterpillars feeding on their leaves and respond by ramping up their chemical defenses. In experiments, plants exposed to recordings of caterpillar chewing vibrations produced significantly higher levels of defensive chemicals than plants exposed to silence or other types of vibration, such as wind. This suggests that the plants are not merely responding to physical damage, but are actively listening, in their own way, for the acoustic signature of a herbivore attack. The vibrations travel through the leaf tissue and are detected by mechanosensory cells, which trigger a cascade of chemical responses. These defensive compounds make the leaves less palatable or even toxic to the feeding caterpillar. The specificity of this response is remarkable. The plant does not react to every vibration, only to those that match the pattern of a real threat. This discovery has reshaped our understanding of plant awareness, revealing that organisms without ears or nervous systems can nonetheless perceive and respond to sound-like signals in their environment. It is a quiet vigilance hidden in the stillness of a leaf. Venus flytraps count the touches on their leaves before snapping shut. The Venus flytrap is one of the most well-known carnivorous plants, and its trapping mechanism is more sophisticated than it might first appear. Each trap is lined with tiny trigger hairs, and the plant does not snap shut at the first contact. Instead, it requires at least 2 touches within roughly 20 seconds before closing. This counting mechanism helps the plant avoid wasting energy on false alarms triggered by raindrops or debris. Once the trap closes, the plant continues to count. Additional stimulation from the struggling prey triggers the release of digestive enzymes, but only after several more touches confirm that a genuine meal is present. If no further stimulation occurs, the trap slowly reopens after about 12 hours, having conserved the energy that digestion would have required. This ability to count stimuli and make decisions based on accumulated information is remarkable for an organism without a nervous system. The Venus flytrap uses electrical signals that travel between cells, analogous in some ways to the nerve impulses of animals. It is a patient predator, counting touches in the stillness before committing to the effort of digestion. Carnivorous plants trap and digest insects for nutrients. Carnivorous plants have evolved the ability to capture and digest small animals, primarily insects, to supplement the poor nutrient supply available in the boggy, acidic soils where they typically grow. These habitats are particularly deficient in nitrogen and phosphorus, 2 elements essential for growth. Rather than relying solely on their roots to obtain these nutrients, carnivorous plants have developed a variety of trapping mechanisms. Pitcher plants lure insects with nectar and bright colors into deep, slippery chambers from which escape is nearly impossible. Sundews use sticky, glistening droplets on their leaves to trap insects like living flypaper. Bladderwrts employ tiny underwater vacuum traps that suck in passing organisms in milliseconds. Once captured, the prey is broken down by digestive enzymes secreted by the plant, and the released nutrients are absorbed through the leaf surface. There are over 700 known species of carnivorous plants, found on every continent except Antarctica. Each one represents an independent evolutionary solution to the same problem. It is life turning the tables, a plant patiently feeding on the very creatures that feed on most other plants. Orchids can trick insects into pollinating them through deception. Orchids are among the most cunning plants in the natural world when it comes to attracting pollinators. Many species have evolved elaborate deceptions to lure insects into visiting their flowers without offering any genuine reward. Some orchids mimic the shape, color, and even the scent of female insects so convincingly that males attempt to mate with the flower, picking up pollen in the process and carrying it to the next imitation. This strategy, known as sexual deception, has been documented in hundreds of orchid species worldwide. Other orchids mimic the appearance of nectar-producing flowers that grow nearby, attracting bees and butterflies that discover too late that there is no nectar to be found. By the time the insect realizes the deception, it has already collected or deposited pollen. Some orchids even produce chemical signals identical to the alarm pheromones of certain insects, triggering an investigative visit. The complexity and specificity of these deceptions is extraordinary, each species finely tuned to exploit a particular pollinator. It is a quiet manipulation carried out in fragrant air without a sound. Some flowers release their scents only at night. Certain flowering plants save their fragrance for the darkness, releasing their strongest scents after the sun goes down. This strategy is closely tied to the behavior of their pollinators. Night-blooming flowers are typically pollinated by moths, bats, and other nocturnal creatures that rely heavily on scent to locate food sources in the dark. The flowers often produce heavy, sweet fragrances that carry well through still night air, maximizing their chances of attracting a pollinator from a distance. Many of these flowers are pale or white, making them more visible in dim light, and they tend to produce large quantities of nectar to reward their nocturnal visitors. The jasmine, evening primrose, and night-blooming cereus are well-known examples. By concentrating their scent production during the hours when their preferred pollinators are active, these plants avoid wasting energy on fragrance that would be lost to the heat and wind of the day. It is a beautiful partnership between plant and pollinator, unfolding in the quiet hours when most of the world is asleep, guided by scent through the cool darkness. Certain plants mimic the smell of rotting flesh to attract pollinators. Some of the most dramatic flowers in the plant kingdom produce an odor that is deeply unpleasant to humans but irresistible to their intended pollinators. The Titan arum and the Rafflesia, among others, emit a powerful stench resembling rotting meat. This smell attracts carrion flies and beetles, insects that normally seek out decaying animal matter to feed on or lay their eggs in. When these insects land on the flower, they find no meat, but instead become coated in pollen, which they inadvertently carry to the next foul-smelling bloom they visit. The Titan arum, sometimes called the corpse flower, can grow over 3 meters tall and heats itself up to help disperse its scent more effectively across a wider area. The Rafflesia produces the largest individual flower of any plant, reaching nearly a meter in diameter. Both species are rare and bloom infrequently, making each flowering event a significant occurrence. It is a strategy that trades beauty for effectiveness, using the chemistry of decay to ensure the continuation of life. Nature, as ever, is more inventive than we might expect. Deep-sea fish produce their own light in the crushing darkness. In the deepest parts of the ocean, where sunlight never reaches and the pressure is immense, a remarkable number of fish species have evolved the ability to produce their own light. This phenomenon, called bioluminescence, is generated by chemical reactions within specialized cells called photophores, or by symbiotic bacteria housed in dedicated light organs. The light serves many purposes. Some fish use it to attract prey, dangling a glowing lure in front of their mouths, like the iconic anglerfish. Others use bioluminescence to communicate with potential mates or to identify members of their own species in the vast darkness. Some species produce a sudden flash of light to startle predators, while others use counter-illumination, matching the faint light filtering down from above to erase their silhouette and become invisible to hunters below. The colors of bioluminescence vary from blue and green, which travel farthest through water, to red, which most deep-sea creatures cannot see, giving certain fish a private spotlight invisible to their neighbors. It is a world lit by living light, quiet and strange, where creatures carry their own small lanterns through the eternal night. And now, the quiet wonders of the living world begin to gently fade into the stillness of the night. You have wandered through over 100 peaceful truths about biology, from the invisible spirals of DNA stretching across the cosmos to the glowing bodies of creatures in the ocean's midnight depths, from forests whispering beneath the soil to tiny hearts beating faster than the eye can see, from animals that freeze solid and revive to plants that count the touches on their leaves. You have explored how cells divide and rebuild without you noticing, how your skeleton renews itself over decades, and how creatures thrive in places from the crushing deep sea to the frozen Arctic ice. You have learned that the living world is stranger, richer, and more creative than we often imagine, and that you yourself are part of this vast tapestry of life. You are connected to this story more deeply than you may realize. Right now, as you listen, trillions of cells are quietly working within you, dividing, repairing, and remembering. Bacteria in your gut are helping you digest your last meal. Your heart is beating steadily, your blood is flowing, and your brain is softly winding down towards sleep. If your eyes feel heavy now, let them close. Let the rhythm of your breath become steady, like the slow pulse of a jellyfish drifting through dark water, like the patient growth of a forest connected beneath the soil. Tonight, as you rest, life continues its ancient work all around you. Creatures glow in the deep sea, trees whisper through their roots, cells divide and renew. The living world carries on with quiet determination as it has for 4 billion years. You are a warm presence within a world filled with such quiet wonders, peacefully resting among the biological marvels. Sleep well, sweet dreams, and may you carry with you the quiet knowledge that you are part of something vast and ancient. That life is endlessly creative, endlessly resilient, and endlessly connected. That somewhere in the moss and soil and ocean depths of our world, the living continues its patient work, unbothered by the vastness of time. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the remarkable world of biology. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Drowsy Discovery for more soothing explorations of the wonders hidden in our world. There are more wonders waiting, more secrets hidden in the living realms we rarely notice, more gentle truths to drift through on quiet evenings. Rest well, and may the quiet persistence of life keep you company through the night. This has been Drowsy Discovery. Good night.